to our label reading 101. What's really in your product? So we're live on Zoom currently, but if you're watching the replay on YouTube, I would still love to hear from you. I'm going to go over a whole lot. So if you have a notebook and pen, it would be super helpful right now, because it's going to be a lot. So we're going to dive right in. And I do want to start by saying I have been doing this for over 20, probably about 22 years now, where I have been very conscious of ingredients, reading labels, making healthy choices. So don't beat yourself up if you're new into, learning about this stuff. Don't feel like you have to throw your whole house away and start over, because you might feel that way. It's okay. Start with what you use the most, or the things that you feel most convicted on, and go from there. But the reason why it matters to read labels, and toes will get stepped on, FYI. If you feel like your toes are being stepped on, ask yourself why, and maybe make some changes in that area of your life and be okay with it, because these are healthy changes. But reading labels really matters because when we're consuming ingredients that we find very often on the shelves in stores, they're leading to things like inflammation, hormone disruption. Don't we have enough issues with hormones without our food making it worse? Mood issues, sleep issues, behavior issues. And honestly, food is only part of the puzzle. Home products matter too. So we're going to talk about all those things. I have a lot to cover. So we're just going to dive right in. And I know you may have been thinking that this Zoom was going to be, or this YouTube or whatever, however you're watching this, was going to be like how to understand calories, carbs. That's not what I'm covering at all. Honestly, most of that stuff doesn't matter to me. And another thing on it, well, besides carbs, I will talk a little bit about carbs, but just pretend that everything you've been taught from the time you were a child, as far as the food guide pyramid and all of that stuff, is a lie. It's mostly upside down. And some of the things that are on it shouldn't be at all. But that's also not necessary. That would be more like a nutrition Zoom. We'll do a nutrition Zoom one day. This is more like reading your ingredient labels, more so than the nutrition facts. So I can definitely do a Zoom, especially if y'all think it would be beneficial on nutrition, but this is not a nutrition Zoom. This is a ingredient Zoom for the most part. So, we're going to talk about food labels first, and we are going to kind of probably skip all over the place. I'm going to be honest. We're going to talk about food first, and then we're going to talk about a couple other things, but I'll probably go back to food and just give you some different tips, because some of this ties in together, surprisingly, food and home products, cleaning products, things like that. So when it comes to food, and really, honestly, pretty much anything that we buy, the fewer ingredients, the better. So fewer ingredients is better. One ingredient is best. And the only way to stick to one ingredient is typically to shop on the outside edges of the grocery store to avoid the aisles altogether. Anything that you're going to find on the aisles in the grocery store, you can make yourself. You have to be willing. And sometimes, like, there are some things I don't make. I don't make my own ketchup. I actually don't eat ketchup because it's not carnivore, but I don't. Even when I'm like keto, low carb, I will buy ketchup before I've never attempted to make ketchup. But there are some things that you're better off making, to be completely honest, that like salad dressing. There's a lot of things that it's nearly impossible to find a healthy swap for if you're avoiding a lot of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So fewer ingredients are better, but one ingredient is absolutely best. So when you're looking at an ingredient label, the ingredients are listed in order by weight. So the very first ingredient that you see is what there's the most of in that product, whatever it is, which can be concerning sometimes. And I want you to think of this. The front of the package lies. Period. The front of the package always lies. The back is where the truth is found. We are not reading the fronts of packages, and the flashier it is, the less likely I am to buy it. I was just looking at because apparently a stomach bug has gone through our house, and I was looking at some of the supplements that I already have in my cabinet, and this is like this is one of my favorite brands. It's called Biotics Research. It is so plain. There's literally nothing flashy. And actually, you can't buy this in stores anyway. You have to get it from a provider or through Full Script, which is not technically a prescription, but it's like a prescription. It's like a prescription if supplements have prescriptions. So you can't just walk into Vitamin Shop and buy this, but even if you could, it's not flashy at all. So even healthy things like probiotics and vitamins, those are all scams, by the way. But if they're flashy, they're no. If they're mainstream, typically, I don't know. I don't know what led me down this path, but ever since I was born, I typically do the opposite of what most people do. So I don't know if that's what kind of led me down the path to discovering all this stuff, but I'm so glad that I did. This is another one of my favorite brands. And by the way, none of this stuff is cheap, but I am going to give you some cheaper alternatives to certain things that you use a lot that are going to be at least close to what you're paying now. Because honestly, what you're paying now isn't cheap either. So, but this is another one of my favorite brands, Biocidin Botanicals. It's not flashy at all, but it's very, very, very good. Um, so these are just like GI things. So I pulled them out because I was like, I need some help with that right now. And Olivia took it when she was feeling it 2 days ago. Um, so anyway, that was just random. The flashier the product, the more gimmicky they probably are. So we're going to talk about some red flag ingredients really quickly. Well, I don't know about really quickly, but I'm going to go as fast as I can. So red flag ingredients, and some of these are going to surprise you. And now if I run into you at the grocery store and I see you like this, I'm gonna be so proud. Brooklyn has started doing it, although she does it to convince me to buy certain things that she'll be like, this doesn't have artificial colors, but then it's like all this other bad stuff. I'm like, girl, go put that back. Like, come on now. I have some hard no's, and I'll tell you what my hard no's are. Um, and then I have some that like it's not the end of the world, but we really should be avoiding them. So some of the swaps that I have are unhealthy because they are just unhealthy. Like chicken nuggets, you're not going to find a healthy chicken nugget, but I'll definitely tell you a better chicken nugget, okay? Or things like anything frozen, processed, bacon, things like that. There is a better, but there's not always a great, if that makes sense. So like candy. We should just not eat candy. That's the answer. But if we're going to eat it, there's ones that we can have that are not going to be full of these ingredients. So red flags. First red flag, this might surprise you. When you're reading an ingredient label and it says natural flavors, put it back. Do y'all know what natural flavors are? Have you ever wondered what natural flavors are? Sounds good, right? Now we're gonna cry. I told you this was gonna be rough. Okay, so natural flavors is an umbrella term that can hide MSG, chemical solvents, synthetic chemicals, and it's often used to create addiction and override fullness so that you keep eating whatever it is that you're eating. So natural flavors? Mm, no, 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 no. Um, I don't even think I have to say artificial flavors. That one is a hard no for me. Like a hard no. But natural flavors, even so, if you're shopping for a good example is bone broth. Bone broth is really good. Most bone broth has natural flavors. So this is why we only buy Pacific Foods or Bare Bones, or there's Dr. Kellyanne's Pick up the product. There's no reason for natural flavors to be in bone broth, but that's the food industry for you. The food industry is about as corrupt as the medical industry. They work hand in hand. That's why there's a Food and Drug Administration. They work together to keep you sick. I'm so sorry, but a healthy America is not a profitable America. So, natural flavors. The next one is citric acid. That has become a hard no for me because most citric acid is actually, this is fun. So corn is one of my hard no's too if it's not organic. Most citric acid comes from black mold. Black mold is what they use to make citric acid. Do you know anything about black mold? I mean, if you saw black mold in an ingredient label, would you put it back? Absolutely. Well, citric acid is made from black mold. So citric acid, hard no. And what that can do, citric acid can irritate the gut lining and trigger inflammation. Inflammation, a hard no for me because I struggle with nerve pain and inflammation issues. My next one, this is a red flag, artificial and natural colors. So I will tell you, there are colors that come from nature that I will definitely eat. But if the label says natural colors, mm-mm. And if the label says any color name like red, blue, yellow, green with a number, that is a hard no. Colors are a hard no for me. So any colors added to a food that aren't coming from like beets or turmeric or something like that, they cause hyperactivity in children, which means they also cause hyperactivity in adults. All these people think they have ADHD. I feel like ADHD is also a scam, to be honest. If we really addressed the food that America was eating, 99% of this stuff would not exist, period. So they also can cross the blood-brain barrier and we cannot detox them. So all those little fruit hugs, those jugs of colored water that we drank as children, they stuck in our brains. So why keep adding to it? I know some people have the attitude of like, well, something's going to kill me, so I'm just going to enjoy life, blah, blah, blah. But no, no, once you know, you have a responsibility to make better choices. So some of the worst, Red 40 is the worst. And it's actually one of the ones that RFK Jr. he hasn't banned it. It's actually a voluntary thing. So don't think that your food is safe just because of the changes that have been made with Red 40, Yellow 5, Blue 1. But if you see an actual food as coloring on the ingredient label, that's better. But we're still talking about processed foods here. If it's a processed food, it's not good. But again, if it's going to have color in it, and y'all always read the label because you think certain things wouldn't have colors. You know, they dye marshmallows with blue dye to make them look whiter. You know, food dye is in a lot of toothpaste. Oh, I didn't even put toothpaste on this list. Oh Lord. We'll talk about toothpaste in a little bit if I have time. Okay, next, we're gonna talk about seed oils. Seed oils, these are canola oil, soy oil, vegetable oil, even grapeseed, sunflower, sesame. These are all inflammatory, highly inflammatory. They're cheap, highly processed oils that are very, very inflammatory. They damage your gut lining and they promote hormonal imbalances. So what we should be cooking with, actually, if you can ditch oils altogether, is much, much healthier. Even things like olive oil is carcinogenic if you heat it. So if you sprinkle it on your salad, that's one thing, but if you cook with it, it's cancer causing. So we should be cooking with things like beef tallow. Oh, let me pull up the chat. We are not cooking with coconut oil. It just doesn't really taste that great, to be honest. It doesn't have a very high smoke point either. Bacon grease. I know that a lot of what I'm going to be telling y'all sounds the opposite of what's true, but I promise if you do your research, it's not. Beef tallow, duck fat, bacon grease, those are all good to cook with. Butter, ghee, which is like clarified butter. Um, So that's good to cook with. I have to here mostly cook with beef tallow because Olivia can't have butter. Even I won't even cook her food with ghee just because it's still kind of technically it's clarified butter. I will definitely cook my food in butter all day long. If I had to pick one thing to cook in, it would be butter. Not margarine. Not I can't believe it's not butter. Not better than butter. That stuff shouldn't even be in your house. That's one thing. If it's in your fridge, throw it away. Those are just like super processed hydrogenated oils that cause a lot of inflammation. And y'all, here's the other thing. I used to do this for me and not my family because I'm like, oh, they don't care. They like bad food. How fair is that? Why am I going to continue to poison my family while I eat better? So let's be honest, women have a lot of control in this area. So we need to make these swaps for our family too. So, and it might not be easy. It might be a fight, but they can't eat what's not there. And so the parents that are like, my kid will only eat chicken nuggets. Well, if there's no chicken nuggets in the house, the kid is not going to starve to death. Give them some better choices. Give them other things to choose from. So, okay, next. So we talked about seed oils. I am not doing good on time, but it's totally fine. I already knew this one was going to be rough. That's why I gave it an extra half hour. Next is MSG. So that's monosodium glutamate and yeast extract. These are both added to savory foods to make them taste better. They make food addictive and they also can trigger migraines, anxiety, and neurological symptoms. Both MSG and yeast extract, but don't forget that natural flavors could be hiding MSG. So they can, because most people try to avoid MSG, but not natural flavors. So read your labels. Next is high fructose corn syrup. This one, it spikes your blood sugar, it fuels belly fat, and it increases the risk of insulin resistance, which leads to diabetes. And it also causes sleep disturbances. And high fructose corn syrup hides in a lot of things, just so you know. Ketchup, um, salad dressing. Um, Hold on, I pulled some pictures up. Hi, baby. Here's just a small sample. Of course, soda. All soda has brominated oils, vegetable oils, high fructose corn syrup, um, barbecue sauce, a lot of sauces. What are you eating? Are you eating some veggie straws? Um, Canned fruit, like things that the normal person on the standard American diet would think is healthy, applesauce, granola bars. Most granola bars are junk. Actually, oats are really bad for you, but that would be more on the nutrition class. So we'll talk about that on the nutrition one. Most candy has some high fructose corn syrup in it. Um, there's a lot of things that have high fructose corn syrup. Toaster strudels. I mean, all of this is highly processed foods that nobody should be eating, honestly. Oh, she did? Yeah, Brooklyn's throwing up. Oh, I'll take care of her after this. Okay, this is the colors. Okay, so we are avoiding high fructose corn syrup. Okay, this one steps on a lot of toes, but this is very important. And I hate nagging people, but this is one that I will nag people about, even people that aren't in my circle, and it's artificial sweeteners. People think that artificial sweeteners pass through our bodies without causing any damage, but that is absolutely not true. So artificial sweeteners include sucralose, aspartame, and then there's this long word. I don't even know how to say it. It starts with a P. Um, Hold on. I'll copy it for you. Girl, no. Okay, here it is. So this right here, there are a lot of ingredient labels that will say this, that if you have this, you can't have, basically this is the pink, there's the pink, yellow, and blue sugars, right? So there's equal, there's Splenda, and then there's sweet and low, or whatever they are. But on the labels, they don't typically say that. They say sucralose, which is the biggest one. That's Splenda, aspartame, and then um the long one. No, stevia is fine. I would not eat stevia because we're uh we're only eating meat and eggs. However, stevia is not an artificial sweetener. Um, so sucralose is definitely the biggest one. Several artificial sweeteners have already been pulled from the shelves because they cause cancer. And so when Splenda came out and they said, oh, made from sugar, so it tastes like sugar, that is a big fat lie. So artificial sweeteners disrupt your gut bacteria, they increase sugar cravings, and they also trigger headaches, anxiety, and sleep issues. They don't just pass through your body. Nothing actually, the only thing that passes through your body is fiber. That is, and actually, we'll talk about this in the nutrition class, but you don't need fiber at all. You can live with zero fiber. We'll talk about that at a different time though. So what you need is fat, but that's not what the doctors tell you. So artificial sweeteners, they are a hard no for me. Like if it is in the product, I'm not eating it. I'm not buying it. I'm not giving it to my kids. Another one, and here's what one of the artificial sweeteners looks like sometimes, although there is a much longer word for it. So when you're looking at it, it what it what it is on the here, I'll tell you what it is on the product label. It's the K stands for potassium, but don't be fooled, it's not healthy. I think you probably have. This was not intended to be a link, but it is a link. So it's acesulfame potassium. So there's Splenda, sucralose, aspartame, and then this one. Most foods have sucralose in them, like that ketchup, again, salad dressing, anything that says light, don't buy light foods. Light foods are terrible. It is not a healthier option. Sugar-free, not a healthier option. So the next one is Carrageen. Carrageen is a thickener that's actually in a lot of healthy foods, a lot of dairy-based foods like milk or yogurts, but it is strongly linked to gut inflammation and bloating. Carrageen is in a lot of foods. So that's another one that I avoid. It's in a lot of half and halves. I will only buy certain heavy creams and half and halves. Girl, what is going on? Did you take a shower? I can tell. So, so we're not going to consume those things. All right, so foods are literally engineered. There are food engineers, right? Foods are literally engineered to hijack your brain with sugar, salt, and fat. And sugar, salt, and fat on its own, like they're not necessarily bad, but the way that they get in these labs and literally engineer these products is to cause dopamine spikes, which is also what happens when you do drugs. And they override your fullness signals. Have you ever noticed when you eat pizza, like the more you eat, the hungrier you are? Or like when you go to a restaurant, they give you bread, but you don't get full. So things like MSG, natural flavors, the high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, these are the biggest culprits that cause addictions. They override your fullness cues, so you're hungrier than you really should be. And really, it's not a willpower problem. It is literally how it's designed to work. It's a chemical design. So don't blame yourself. Just stop eating this stuff. And yes, there will be withdrawals, but it's just like a drug. You just have to stop doing it. So, I have a couple of bonus tips that you might not like. One, is chewing gum is bad. It doesn't matter if it's a natural chewing gum. Chewing gum, period, is really bad for you. Most chewing gum actually does contain artificial sweeteners like aspartame, but there are some out there like Pure and there's different ones that don't have artificial flavors or sweeteners. But chewing gum, period, triggers constant digestive stimulation, which leads to bloating. Chewing gum causes bloating. I mean, it also it causes increased hunger because it's signaling your body to expect food that's never coming. And it can lead to jaw tension, which that's just if you're chewing gum and your jaw hurts, obviously, probably stop chewing gum. But a lot of them also contain an ingredient called BHT, which is a hormone disruptor. Another tip is to read meat labels too. So you think that just because it's a package of meat like chicken or beef that it's safe, but a lot of beef, I've noticed this a lot in Walmart. I won't buy food from Walmart. Walmart is the worst place to buy food. But even like ground beef, if you turn it over, especially at a place like Walmart, it'll say beef and natural flavors, or it'll have red 40 injected into it to make it look fresher. Yeah, it'll have red dye in it so that it looks better in the packaging because nobody wants to buy ugly meat. But it doesn't matter what the meat looks like. It matters if the meat's fresh and what it smells like. If it's bad, you'll know. So read meat labels too. Um, and then another thing when it comes to produce. So I know I'm not going into all of this tonight, but organic, non-organic, does it really make a difference? It definitely makes a difference. And if you can't switch to all organic, get to know the Dirty Dozen. The Dirty Dozen is a list that changes periodically, and it's the current 12 highest products for pesticide levels. So when they're tested, it's looking at what produce products have the highest pesticide levels on them right now. But again, like you can look this up periodically because it does change each year. But right now, the Dirty Dozen, as in never buy this non-organic. If you buy it, it has to be organic. So the highest one is almost always strawberries. 99% of the time, strawberries are highest on the list. They have a ton of pesticide residue on them. And then and these are in order this year right now. So strawberries, spinach, kale, collard and mustard greens, grapes, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, bell and hot peppers, cherries, and green beans. Peppers are almost always on the list too. So just like get to know that list. And when you buy those products, they should never be conventional. Yes, organic makes a difference. People think that it's a marketing ploy. It's not. There are standards. They can still use pesticides on organic products, but they're different. So even organic produce should be washed though. Wash all produce. Do y'all know how to wash produce? So all you're going to do is you're just going to put like room temp water in the sink with a bunch of baking soda and you soak it for 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't matter what the fruit or what the vegetable is, you do all of them, even if they're organic, do it anyway. And you soak them, you will be absolutely grossed out, especially grapes. Grapes are disgusting. You will be so grossed out at that water when you're done. You will never eat an unwashed fruit again. So, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about baking soda at the end. All baking soda is not the same. Arm & Hammer is terrible. You should never eat it. You can wash your clothes with it, but you should never eat it or wash your produce with it, or put it in your recipes or anything like that. So I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end. I hope I have time for all this. All right, so here's another tip. These are nutrition misconceptions that I'll have to expand on another day, but since we're talking about product labels, calories in versus calories out is a myth. So a lot of health nuts will tell you that you have to consume less calories than you're burning to lose weight, and that is not true. It is absolutely not true because there's a lot of other things to take into consideration. If you eat the amount of, let's say you eat Twinkies, 2,000 calories worth of Twinkies, and that's all you eat every day, versus 3,000 calories worth of steak. It's very, very different. And even if you're not burning all those calories, you can still lose weight. You can literally lose weight while consuming a large amount of calories. So don't believe the calories in versus calories out myth, because it's not true. And our bodies are not calculators. So there are other things to take into consideration, like hormones, food quality, inflammation, and your metabolism. And there's ways to literally reset your metabolism, but that's not on the Zoom. Sorry. And I will quickly talk about carbs. So if you're attempting to eat low carb, when you're looking at your food labels, so low carb as in keto would be, girl, go get that. Go take it to dad. Um, would be actually 20 carbs or less per day, which is very, very few, very few. And the best way to do that is to just eat meat and eggs, to be honest. Meat and eggs and maybe some cheese. But if you're looking and you're counting carbs, you can deduct the fiber from the carb count. So if there's 20 carbs, but 10 of them are fiber, you can deduct that from the carb count when you're counting carbs. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about cleaning products. Was that Brooklyn?
Yeah.
She needs dad? Oh, oh, she might be struggling. So let's talk about cleaning products. So what you're breathing in. This is another one that I think steps on a lot of toes, but you're here for information, so here we go. This is my first cup of coffee since I was sick. I was a little nervous to drink it, but it seems to be okay so far. Okay, so fragrance. Fragrance is another umbrella term that often includes things like phthalates, which are hormone disruptors, and they're linked to migraines, reproductive issues, and mood swings. So fragrance can actually trigger asthma. It can cause asthma. People that don't have asthma can develop asthma because of their laundry detergent, their air fresheners, their dishwashing liquids, all the things that contain fragrance can literally cause asthma. And also respiratory irritation and headaches. So breathing in scented products like air fresheners, plug-ins, laundry detergent can also contribute to long-term respiratory issues and hormone imbalance, which is scary. And people think, I've seen people fight about this, like, oh, when you wash your clothes, it all washes out. It does not wash out. If it washed out, there would be no smell left on your clothes. So when you're using Tide or these Downy scent boosters or, oh my gosh, fabric softener sheets are the worst. You're literally coating your clothes in chemicals that your body is absorbing and you're breathing in all day, that's causing hormone issues, migraines, and can literally cause asthma. So when it comes to cleaning products, that's the other thing. So if you're using like Fabuloso or Mr. Clean or even bleach, so we're going to get rid of all the bleach, all the ammonia, and I know people might not clean with that stuff so much anymore, but I don't know because it's been years since I've used any of that. But there are a lot of things that are on the shelves at the store that are really greenwashed that aren't really much better, to be honest. So there are a lot of ingredients that cause skin irritation and hormonal issues and respiratory issues in our cleaning products too. So when I'm talking about cleaning products, I'm talking about cleaning your house, cleaning your laundry, cleaning your dishes, basically. So, and also on that subject, disinfectants like Lysol and antibacterial soaps have no place in your home either. I know a lot of people live by going around killing germs, but it's really bad for you. It's really bad for you to breathe in. And they don't just kill off harmful bacteria, they also kill all the beneficial bacteria, which impacts your immune health and your skin integrity. So if you're using antibacterial soap to wash your hands, or if you're using things like Lysol or any disinfectant, really, well, almost any, I'll give you options at the end, but they're all bad, and overuse actually can contribute to antibiotic resistant bacteria. And then we're creating super bacteria. And again, these disinfectants and antibacterial products. No, we're gonna take that right before bed.
Well, so if we were sick, if we were sick,
You gotta let me finish the Zoom.
can I have one?
Before bed?
Well, because when we were sick, I didn't get to take
We'll
one.
take one. Take just whatever. Just take one. Okay, so where was I? Hold on.
Okay. So I got two and one.
This kid done distracted me.
I got one.
Oh yeah, I need to make sure that I come back to this. I'm gonna come back to food in a minute. Okay, so we were talking about antibiotic resistant bacteria, antibacterial disinfectants, those are bad. And a tip with clothes too. So I know the clothes, that's so random, but clothing labels and fabric awareness is kind of part of this too, because polyester, which is what most clothes are made out of, and synthetic fabrics can release microplastics and chemicals, especially when heated. And guess what happens when you wash your clothes? You dry them in the dryer. So whenever humanly possible, choose cotton or natural fibers like linen when it comes to clothes. Now, this will not, I, I have a lot of polyester clothes, but if you can choose cotton, especially things that are close, like underwear, definitely buy cotton underwear because these things are very, I mean, they if you do a deep dive into that, it'll scare you. So when you can choose cotton, choose cotton. And always, always, always wash clothes before you wear them because the factories that make these clothes, they apply chemicals like formaldehyde and flame retardants and dyes that can irritate your skin and affect your hormone levels. So, back to like laundry and things like that. So, what to replace dryer sheets with would be wool balls. They have these balls, like you just put two wool balls in your dryer and they just tumble around in there with your clothes. And you can even put a couple of drops of essential oil on them if you want. That's what I used to do. My favorite was definitely lemongrass oil, but you could put whatever, and your clothes smell so good. Um, so you don't want to put much because you don't want to end up with oil spots on your clothes, but um, you can just put the wool balls in there without anything on them, and they help with static issues. They're way better than um, dryer sheets. Like dryer sheets, again, have no place in your house. I don't care if they're all free and clear. Those are trash, just like the regular ones. So, dish pods, laundry pods, most of those also can contain synthetic fragrances. Why do your dishes need to smell good? That's weird. Bleach, hormone disruptors, and especially things like candles, spray air fresheners, plugins typically contain formaldehyde, which is a known carcinogen, so that causes cancer. Um, and again, like looking at the front of a label, typically with a lot of these products, there's not a good choice for swaps in stores. So I'm going to give you some Amazon links. And it's not just because I want you to have my Amazon links, it's because you can't really find much of this in the stores. In the stores, you'll find brands like Mrs. Meyer's, what is that other one called? There's another one that's big. Well, those are all greenwashed, meaning on the front they say great things, but on the back they say bad things. They're still not good. They might be better, but they're not great at all by any means. So, um, better swaps that you can actually start. Oh, there's messages. You're allergic to Arm& Hammer. Ooh, Arm& Hammer, like laundry stuff? Or just in general, Arm& Hammer?
The
Um,
laundry stuff.
well, any mainstream laundry stuff is bad. And I'll tell you what kind of I already pulled together a lot of links. And these are things I've used. These are not things like, oh, this sounds good. It's literally over the years, I have done so much research into better options, into um do this, not that, things like that. What? Huh? Okay. So these products that I have linked to, they're because I trust them and use them. Um, for food, one of the best things that you can do is stick to the outer edges of the grocery store, is to buy ingredients instead of pre-made or pre-packaged stuff. So I know Scarlett, you talk about meatballs a lot. Make your own meatballs. Most meatballs have a lot. I don't know what kind of meatballs you use, but most meatballs have a lot of really bad ingredients in them. So make your own. Just take a day and just put a ton of them together. Um, most of the things that you can make on your own, you would be surprised at how easy they are and how much money you'll save too. And then it'll be a healthier choice for your family. And then you can eat them because then they really are meatballs instead of bread balls with a little meat and soy protein mixed in and artificial colors, because that's really what a lot of those frozen meatballs are. So the things that you love, and I actually built in a quite lengthy amount of Q&A time at the end of this so that if y'all wanted to ask about specifics, because I could take you on a whole tour of my kitchen, but it would take forever. So it's really what I eat a lot of isn't the same as what y'all eat a lot of. So asking like healthier swaps for specific things, do that at the end. Um, but I do have some brands that I do really like. Food, you'll have to ask me about at the end, but cleaning products. So there's this brand called Drops, and I am going to link all the Amazon. I actually used to have affiliate accounts for every single one of these products because I love them so much. Through COVID, I created affiliate accounts for most of them, and I probably have referral links for a lot of them too. But I just grabbed the Amazon links, which is way less, by the way. It's like 1%. I would get a lot more if I used the actual referral links, but it's just so much easier to pull together a bunch of Amazon links than to try to go log into all these accounts. But I really like Drops. Drops is a good company. They actually sell laundry and dish stuff. So you can actually get all of your laundry and dish stuff from them, your dishwashing pods, your laundry pods, your dishwashing liquid. They have everything. Also, Stoneworks, if you do like your clothes to smell. So Drops does have some fragrance laundry stuff, but it's not super smelly, and I really like a lot of smell. So there's this brand called Stoneworks, and Stoneworks, you can actually find it in some stores like Fresh Market, but it's a lot cheaper on Amazon. And Stoneworks has this one called Oak, and it's like the best. Like your clothes will smell so good. If you like earthy, cinnamony, like cloves, like oh, it is so good. So I'll link that for you. And then there's another one called Truly Free, and their signature scent is kind of sort of like that, but it's not going to be as strong as Stoneworks. So if you like strong, Stoneworks is the way to go. And then for fragrance, if you like your house to smell good, really, eventually you'll probably get to the place where you're like, I don't even care what my house smells. Not that it'll smell bad, but like if I go to a party, this is always really hard. If I go to a party and I'm near a plug-in, I am dying by the time I leave, and it's really hard. So you just get used to not breathing that stuff in. Or because, a lot of people give kids clothes, or they'll leave their clothes somewhere and they'll wash them for us and give them back. I have to wash their clothes so many times before I can use them when someone has washed it with like Tide or Downy. And you can tell by touching the fabric. Once you have like detoxed of all this stuff, I can tell by touching someone's clothes if they use fabric softener because it's gross, it's filmy and it's just not good. Um, so I like this brand. It's called Scent Fills, and they use safer smells. This is their plugins. So they think of like Glade or Airwick or whatever. They're oil plugins. So they have a bunch of different smells, but they also have a bunch of different 100% natural smells. So they have smells and then they have 100% natural. Even their smells are way, 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 way safer and better than any like Glade or Airwick or anything like that. But their 100% natural is all I buy. So the 100% natural ones do go a little faster than their regular ones, but they're amazing. They have like lavender vanilla, they have peppermint, they have some really, oh, they have a new 100% natural strawberry. I haven't tried that one yet, but they have some really, really nice ones and they work really well. Um, so start with what you use the most. Like I said, don't feel like you have to go throw your whole house away now. You might, but it's okay. Start with what you feel like you consume the most. So if you're consuming artificial sweeteners every day, start there. Or if you're consuming, um, high fructose corn syrup every day, start there. Look at your most processed foods and drinks and start there. And before I do the questions and answers, I do want to tell you a couple of things. You'll find that some of my swaps have natural flavors in them, but I want to tell you a little bit about this. So there's natural flavors, and then there's organic natural flavors, okay? So organic natural flavors are not great. I'm not saying they're good, but if I'm going to eat something with natural flavors, it's going to be organic natural flavors. So natural flavors can be derived from anything natural, including animal parts, animal secretions, and GMO plants. Oh yeah, I know. I know. They can also involve chemical solvents, preservatives, or synthetic carriers like propylene glycol or BHA, and there's no requirement to disclose what's actually in them. And they're added to foods to enhance taste and addiction. Organic natural flavors, those must come from certified organic, non-GMO plant or animal sources. And they must also be processed with organic compliant methods, so no synthetic solvents, carriers, or preservatives. They're slightly more regulated, but still not required to disclose the full breakdown. They're still added to foods to enhance their taste and addictive, nature. But so if we're talking about like best is chicken breast. And then it would be like organic chicken nuggets, which are always going to have natural flavors. That's what makes them taste like chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets taste good because they have natural flavors in them, not because they're really chicken, because chicken don't taste like that. See? So when the kid loves chicken nuggets, at least buy the kid organic chicken nuggets that has organic natural flavors instead of Dino Nuggies, which are terrible. Or Tyson. Any mainstream brand is going to be bad. And when a mainstream brand offers a better alternative, I will tell you, I don't buy them. So Charms, they sell blow pops. Well, they have organic blow pops too. I won't buy them because they're in the market to make people sicker, but then they want to also capture the people that care about their health, and that just doesn't, that rubs me the wrong way. So, um, so some of the products that I would recommend as a swap do have natural, organic natural flavors, but these are not meant to be consumed every day. So like example, an alternative for Skittles, which you should definitely not be eating every day, would be Yum Earth Giggles, which have organic natural flavors in them. So again, this is more like if someone gives my kid candy, I always have something that I can trade. So it's not every day. It's not even every week, honestly. It's very rare when, let's say someone gives her candy at church, she knows to bring it to me. She knows to bring anything that's given to her to me so that I can swap it. So it's not going to be something that we just keep around the house as a staple. It's just more like a just in case, especially like we go trick-or-treating. She doesn't get to keep any of the candy when she goes trick-or-treating at all. None of it, not even one single piece. And she's okay with that. She trades it for things that are still not great, but they are way better. So it there are very few people I think who are like good 100% of the time, but even when you have cheats or indulge yourself, stick to things that don't have these terrible things in it. And then I also want to talk about baking soda. I know this is so random, but baking soda, brands like Arm& Hammer, which is the most common on the shelves in the stores, they use a chemical process called the solvay process to make their um, baking soda, which involves ammonia and carbon dioxide to synthetically produce baking soda. So it's lab created. It is not, so sodium bicarbonate is a natural, like you can find it in nature. You can also make it in a lab, just like a lot of other ingredients. So it's cheap and it's efficient, but it is not good. And most baking sodas, I've never really seen one on the shelves. The one that I'm gonna link, you can probably find it on the shelves if you look hard enough, because this brand is carried in stores. But typically, um, I don't see the baking soda in stores. I don't know if it just doesn't sell a lot in stores because baking soda is so cheap. People just grab the 96-cent box versus the $3 box. But um, the baking soda on the shelf is normally not food grade, which is why it says for deodorizing and cleaning. It's not typically meant to be consumed. And it also, it often contains contaminants and aluminum. Aluminum actually really is a big contributing factor to Alzheimer's. So we don't want to be consuming more metals than necessary. So it's okay for laundry. Like if you throw some baking soda in your laundry, or if you want to put a box of it in your refrigerator to make it smell better, it's okay for that. But not for eating and not for washing your produce and not for bathing either. So putting baking soda in the bath is really good, but not baking soda that's full of chemicals and aluminum. That would kind of defeat the purpose of using the baking soda, right? So um there are other options. Bob's Red Mill is one of them. I like Bob's Red Mill for a lot of things. They have a lot of milled products like flours, biscuits, grits. They have a lot of flours too. They have almond flour, they have arrowroot flour, cassava flour, coconut flour. They have a ton of different milled things and grits. If you ever eat grits, because corn, again, back to the corn thing. I'm not saying never because never works, but corn is one of the worst things that we can eat because it's so modified. And so if I'm eating corn, I much prefer it to be organic. And if you don't know this, organic is never genetically modified. If it's organic, it can't be genetically modified. So we can talk about that in the nutrition Zoom more, why you want to avoid genetically modified foods or bioengineered foods. But just know that if it's really organic, it can't be GMO. So GMO or organic is always GMO free or non-GMO. That doesn't apply to many things, but it does apply to that. So, okay, so now that I said all that, I actually left 30 minutes at the end to ask questions or ask for specific food swaps. So, now is your chance to ask away.
Okay, I have a question about organic. You said that if it's labeled organic, then it doesn't have all that stuff on it, the pesticides and things like that. You know how a lot of things are mislabeled now? So if we see organic, that means that there's 100% it's good to go. Like there's
Well,
nothing hiding.
okay, organic can still be sprayed with pesticides. They're just different pesticides.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
Now you'll see like certified organic by blah blah blah. They really,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing that if they were to put the word organic on a label, um, they could get in a lot of trouble for labeling
That's
it
what I was
organic if
thinking.
it's
Yeah.
not actually organic. So produce
Yeah.
especially, if it's labeled organic and it's produce, you're good. Still wash it though, because the baking soda actually removes more pesticides than produce wash. Like they have produce washes out there, but baking soda, just 10, 15 minutes soaking it in baking soda and then rinsing it off, even if it's organic, it's going to remove more residue than anything else you can really do. And it's cheap. Even the expensive baking soda that I'm gonna send you a link to,
Yeah.
it's like $4 instead of $1. But um still cheap, for a pound of baking soda.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never washed my vegetables in baking soda. I'd never heard of that, honestly. I just used water.
And
So,
there's a lot of
uh,
wax on
yes.
our vegetables and fruits and stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever seen remove that white film from grapes is this is why grapes, you will be the most grossed out. Grapes and blueberries,
Mm,
they're gross when you wash them. You're gonna
mm,
never go
mhm.
back to not washing them with baking soda and water. Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about swaps. So yeah, so I have noticed in being around you and going carnivore and stuff that my son is actually liking like the little cheese um mozzarella cheese with the pepperoni on top. He's loving that.
Oh, and then baked and
Um
rolled. And you're buying
yeah,
uncured. So this would be in the nutrition class, but I'm happy to answer
okay.
any of these questions now because we
Oh,
have
okay.
time. But uncured always when it comes to processed meats like bacon and pepperoni, right?
I remember you saying that. I don't know that I did it with this last shopping round. Honestly, and plus I need to stop shopping at Walmart. Obviously, I need to go to
Yes,
Aldi,
Walmart,
which,
it is nearly impossible to stick
yeah.
anything good. I literally have gone into Walmart to get like one thing and I couldn't even find
Mm-hmm.
like it's terrible. It's not the place to go. Aldi and Kroger will have everything you need. There's probably other grocery stores, but Walmart, just not so much.
And so, okay, so, and I know this may take a little bit longer, but I would love to hear any kind of swaps that you have for, and I don't know if I can have them or not, but I would love to have meatballs. I would love to have meatloaf if at all possible. Um, things like that, so I can vary kind of what I'm eating, so I don't get tired of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about that. Meatballs. I don't eat
Okay.
meatballs, but
Yeah.
I do know that making them yourself is absolutely going to be the best thing for sure. Um, so if you need a filler, then fried pork skins in the food processor is the best thing you can use. You just put them in there until it's almost like, don't put them in there too long because it will turn into like peanut butter because there's so much fat that it doesn't powder, it actually like purees. But you just get it to like the consistency of shake and bake, and then you can use it. That's what I bread fried chicken tenders with, fried oven fried chicken tenders with. Um, so if you need something to hold it together because it's not staying together, that would be the way to go. So your ground beef, your seasonings, and then some fried pork skin. You might not even need them. Like try it without because it might be fine. But and then put your meatballs in the air fryer. Do you have an air fryer?
So I don't think it's an air fryer. I have that one thing that I told you I was scared of, the Instapot.
Yeah, that
So,
doesn't have an air fryer unless it's a Ninja Foodie.
Ninja. Maybe that's something I could save up for. But, I got thinking about it. Meatballs, and Vinny's the one who eats meatball. I don't eat
I'm
them
not a
because,
meatball person,
well, because they have all that stuff in it, and it just grosses me out, so I can't eat them.
which is
I can't even
exactly
look
why
at
he
them.
shouldn't be eating them.
True, this is true. So I liked your idea that you said just make your own. I can make a batch, like just
Make a bunch of them, yeah.
make a bunch because we have two huge freezers.
And you can
So
even
maybe
make them and cook them. They can be cooked
True.
just like the frozen ones, so
Yeah.
that if you're in a hurry, then however you avoid the microwave when at all possible, but you can
Yes.
pop
Hmm.
them in the oven or whatever,
Okay.
or you could even just thaw them out. Just bring them out when, you know,
Hmm.
it's meatball time.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You could probably make a ton of meatballs for
Yeah.
cheap because
Oh,
ground
I'm
beef.
sure.
Also, when you buy ground beef, it's actually better to buy the higher fat. So instead of going like 94/6, it's better to go 80/20. And it
Oh, good.
has, which this is interesting. So ground beef that has a higher fat content has less gristle in it. Yeah. Yep. But it
Guess
also means
why?
it'll cook down more.
Yeah.
It won't hold
Yep.
together as well, but
Hmm.
it is, yeah. I used to buy only lean because I didn't like gristle, but it always had gristle in it. Now we buy fatty ground beef and it doesn't have gristle in it.
That's great to know. That's why I don't eat meatballs. To see the little white thing. Ugh. Okay, so it's really gross. I can't. I don't even. Yeah, I'm done.
And then the nutrition class, Zoom or whatever, maybe I should do that one next month. We'll talk about why buying pastured food and grass fed can actually be like one of those greenwash things too, but uncured, well, since you're eating pepperoni and bacon and stuff, cured is bad. um so cured is usually cured with like nitrates and nitrites, which actually are known carcinogens too. So this is why they say processed meat gives you cancer. It's not processed meat, it's what they're adding to most mainstream processed meat. So deli meat, bacon, hot dogs, and pepperoni. And if you really, there's a good swap for all of those, though. I know you're like, ugh, but there are good hot dogs out there. There's definitely good bacon, pepperoni, and deli meat. But at the bare minimum, it has to be uncured.
So, so this is all. It's you that clearly says do not enter. Sorry. Um. Oh gosh. Okay. Hush, yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Hold on.
Got
Oh,
distracted.
yeah, because I'm supposed to be the front seat driver.
No, you're not
Anyway,
supposed to be the front seat driver.
so that makes sense. We found by eating and eliminating, like the little meats that are 96 cents, like in the Wally world, of course. I always would get headaches with them, and so I'm wondering, because I've been eating a lot of pepperoni and mozzarella cheese, if that's kind of contributing to my headaches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my husband, he thinks he can't eat ham, but it's not ham that's the problem, it's the nitrates. So ham like spiral ham, like the ham you buy for Easter, those are full of nitrates and terrible stuff. So we actually have to go at Kroger, they do sell an uncured one. At Aldi, they sell an uncured one. They're small. They're real small. But if you want like a big ham that's uncured, you could go to Whole Foods. So Whole Foods is like in case of emergency, if there's something you really like, same thing for turkey. So turkey, when it's Thanksgiving, buying a $20 turkey is just bad news. It's injected with junk. It's got carrageenan in it. The same thing with chicken tenders. If you're buying your chicken tenders from Walmart, they have carrageenan in them, which causes headaches and a lot of the meat, because it'll say up to 10% of a solution. Well, if you buy your tenders from Aldi or Kroger, even their low quality tenders is just water and just water. It says it might have retained water versus flavors and all the things that are bad. So even if you're sticking to just meat, the meat could still be making you sick.
I need.
And I'm not saying you have
So,
to buy pasture raised, but looking at the label makes a big difference.
well, and it does, and because we've talked a lot, but I feel bad must I eat mostly anytime I eat anything. And so that's why I'm going, the route of making changes and stuff. So whatever you have on your shopping list for like Aldi's or whatever, like for the uncured stuff, like I need help with that. I mean, I could look at it. If it says uncured, does that really mean that it's uncured? Then I'm
Yes.
good.
Yes, it
Okay.
has to. That's one of the, it's kind of like
Okay.
the word organic. Um,
Okay.
they can't they can't say, so it should say something like uh no nitrates or nitrites except those naturally occurring in whatever. It's usually cherry juice, celery powder, or sea salt, so it's cured with salt or celery powder instead of nitrates. So it'll say that. So a lot of them will say nitrate free, but then on the back. So again, we're not looking at the front. Well, the front will kind of help you tell, it'll kind of help tell you what to pick up to turn around and look at the back, but we're still looking at the back. Um, Bacon should just say pork and salt. That's it. Most bacon has sugar in it. So again, bacon with sugar in it's not going to be carnivore because it has sugar in it. Um, Deli meat, it should just say like turkey and salt, or because you can find these, you just have to actually pick them up. And then what'll happen is you'll figure out what brands you're going to stick to, and then you don't really have to look at them anymore. I still look at things every once in a while because things sometimes change. If it ever looks different, I'm like, okay, let me read this. But I have my go-tos where when I go in the store, I know what to get at this point and what not to get. So you'll get used to it over time and know like kind of what to stick to for swaps. Yeah. So do y'all have any specific foods or besides meatballs, like things that you feel like your family eats a lot of or you eat or drink a lot of that you would be open to finding a swap for? Or sometimes the answer is just stopping it altogether, but um yeah.
So, I mean, you just, so like sodas. I don't drink sodas. I can't drink them anymore. They taste nasty. But my children love them. Um, and so I just don't buy them. That's the fix for that. But and I know that I'm not supposed to be doing sugar, and I'll eventually wean my kids off of it, especially Vinley, because I think all of this will help with some of his mood swings and things like that with his autism. Is there anything juice wise or whatever that he could drink or no?
I mean, you could, so honestly, I think it's important to tell them why. Like, we're gonna avoid this from now on because it causes this. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be so simple. Like, this is why we're not having this anymore. If you want another option, drink this, but it's not gonna taste the same. So then if this is like poppy or I mean, there's all kinds of there's all kinds of soda swaps that aren't there. None of them are gonna taste the same. That's the only thing. Because there's like Olipop, and I haven't super looked into any of these. Let me just pull up some ingredients right quick. I know that they're better. I would 100% give my kid a Olipop every once in a while versus I would never give my kid a soda. So, um. Yeah, see, Olipop has natural flavors, but again, I am giving her an Olipop over a soda any day. So if it's like when we go to uh Starbucks, they have Olipops there. Okay, so honestly, that's probably better than anything they'll make behind the counter because their milks all contain these carrageenans and like they're not good. And that might be why you feel sick if you drink coffee from Starbucks versus coffee from home. So, it could just be these little additives that are in this, but you might be buying them too without realizing it. So when you're buying heavy cream, if you buy the cheapest heavy cream, it will always have carrageenan and like polysorbate or um There's another one. There's a word and then the number 80, which is a preservative. And it'll say like less than 1%, but still, we're ingesting this. It's still not good. So, I don't think there's a great um soda alternative. Hold on.
So while you're looking up that, it's specifically for my household, we do good with eating meats. Um, Vegetables we need to do better on. But
Don't beat yourself up over vegetables. Fruits are actually better than vegetables. So if you're feeding your kids, for example, just meat and fruit, that's still animal based where
okay,
vegetables don't
got
fall
it.
into the vegetable myth.
Got it. Okay.
Now, if you're avoiding sugar, again, carnivore, we're not eating fruit, but don't beat
Right.
yourself up over vegetables.
And the other thing is just carbs for them. They love bread, rice, pasta,
And that's
all
an
that stuff.
addiction. And it's just something that it's an addiction. I mean, it is what it is. They're going to be mad, but again, explaining why are we not gonna consume these anymore?
The fact of it is, I buy the groceries, so you know.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Where, like I told Brooklyn, because she started her job at Zaxby's, she didn't even go to work today because she was not. And my husband was like, "This doesn't look good on her second day of work." And this was like reason 1 million that I never want to have a boss again because she called and I heard the person on the other line, and she was like, "Hey, this is Brooklyn. I don't think I'm gonna make it today." Now it was an hour before her shift, but she was planning to go this whole time, and just like the more the day passed, the worse she felt. And she's like, I don't think I'm going to make it today. My family had a stomach bug and I'm pretty sure I got it, which she's throwing up now. So what if she had gone? And the person on the other line was like, thanks for letting me know, click. Not, well, I hope you feel better. Not, it was literally just like, thanks for letting me know, click, and straight up hung up on her. And I was like, you know what? I don't care how it looks. I don't care that it just, how did I start talking about this? Anyway, but I just, I told her, just because you're starting this job at Zaxby's doesn't mean you should eat Zaxby's a lot. And she came home with Zaxby's last night. And she ate it this morning, which is probably the worst thing she could have ate when a stomach bug was going around. Yeah, I know. So all the sauces, the Zax sauce, all that stuff is so bad. Um, okay, so I'm looking at some different sodas.
Well,
So, okay, let's say you're transitioning away from soda. If it's like a temporary fix, Zevia would probably be the closest. And it's made with stevia. There's still artificial, I mean not artificial, sorry. Natural flavors in most brands, but they're non-toxic. Um and then if you were looking at, because my husband for the longest, and I knew this was becoming an issue the more he drank it, he was drinking, what are they called? Like the flavored waters, the carbonated, I think they're gross, but
They're so nasty.
like
So,
seltzer water, but that has flavors. And so the
mm-hmm,
more he drank them, the more he drank them. And I'm like, and this is before I
mm,
knew natural flavors were bad. And I'm like, honey, I feel like there's something weird here. I feel like maybe these aren't a good idea. But if you were going to gradually move towards that, Spindrift uses fruit juice instead of natural flavors. But it's still not going to taste like soda. But Zevia will probably taste the closest like soda. And then apparently there are some Olipop flavors that don't have natural flavors in them, like lemon ginger or crisp apple, which I've never actually seen. And they do have prebiotics in them, which is good. Um, and then there's a Culture Pop soda, which I don't know if that's in stores. Um, and then it says avoid poppy. avoid health aid pop, many functional sodas because they're trendy, but they still have bad ingredients in them.
I might try the Zevia. He drinks water for the most part because, like I said, I hide all that stuff because Cheyenne drinks it. I hide it from him. But I might try that for his every once in a while.
Yeah, if it's just every once in a while, it's not the end of the world. And Zevia has all kinds of they have like cola, they have root beer, they have all kinds of flavors. So, whew. Yeah, in our nutrition Zoom, we'll talk about table salt, table sugar, cane sugar. All sugar's bad. Yes, babe. I got 12 minutes of Q&A left unless they run out of questions, then I
I was
Kelly, are
gonna
you still
say,
here?
I know I feel bad. I've been like
Kelly?
talking your ear off.
She's here. She's just quiet. Oh,
I'm
look.
here.
Say hi.
I
Biggest
miss you.
smile. She misses her Kelly.
I'm gonna come see you soon. I miss my girl.
Oh, look at that smile. I love it. All right. So, yeah, I think if you feed your family differently, you'll also, I mean, a lot of times we think things are caused like we look at the pharmaceutical side of things, like treating certain things, but sometimes it's as simple as removing an ingredient from your life, like artificial dyes, because it does cause hyperactivity, or artificial sweeteners because it causes gut issues, or um flavors because it causes you to get too addicted to food. And sometimes we think it's a us issue, but it's really like we just need to change our diet. That's why I think diet should be the first thing addressed, but unfortunately when you go to doctors, they don't typically even ask about that, which is crazy. They go straight to the pill.
She's taking a shower too.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, this has been great. We definitely need to do more of these.
Yay.
I'm gonna share your YouTube link on my Facebook to spread the word on all these that you're doing, the sleep one, because they're all very good. So I appreciate you taking the time out because I know it's a lot of work. And yeah, thank you.
And energy tonight. Ooh, I'm done after this. Look, I got my pajama pants on. I just had to be cute up here a little bit, but I am done for the night.
Yes, and you got to
Whew.
text me and let me know how Brooklyn's doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on her.
Yeah, go check on her.
Well, one thing I am grateful for is that when you start making these changes, when you do get sick, like I know people that when they get sick, it takes them a week or more to recover. With us, usually the next day I'm totally fine. And like I had a headache this morning, but I mean, we were at the park for 4 hours today and I was fine. So maybe not fine, like fine normally, but fine, like, and most people, they don't recover quickly when they get even the smallest little things. So you'll find as you make a lot of these swaps, your immune system will be better. You'll recover quickly from illnesses. And we don't do any. I need to do a Zoom on that too, like medicine cabinet swaps, but with a disclaimer, I am not a doctor and I am not claiming to be a doctor, but I have been researching for over 20 years, and there are a lot of things that we're lied to about when it comes to that too. So we'll do a whole Zoom on that too. But thank you for being on, and anybody watching the YouTube video, just put in the comments if you have questions. But I appreciate you and your time tonight. I hope that y'all have a great night, and I'll see you next month for the next health Zoom, and our next Mary Kay Zoom will be Tuesday with Ruth. So yay! Well, y'all have a great night.
Hi, y'all.
Bye.
Oh, say bye to Kelly.
Oh, she wants to say bye to Miss Kelly. Come on.
Bye.
Quickly.
I just get a hand, really?
There you go.
Bye.
Bye. I love you, Sunshine. Y'all hurry up and get better so I can come see ya.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Night.